Hello, so this is a demonstration for the empty Anim to path tool and how it works. So I have made an example scene here. There's a cube, there's a ground, there's a cube animated which represents our character, and the idea is that we have this animation, but it's very complicated to control because of the ground and because whatever. We prefer to use motion path. So the script will work as follows. When you open, it will check for the first and last frame of your timeline and it will add it to here. But it might not match your animation. So in this case, the animation ends at 43, so I put it manually. And the selection, it will get the selection that you have. But if you have nothing selected, it will look like this, and you can change it with whatever you want. So the sample animation, it basically says, dictates the resolution of the curve that will be created based on your animation. In case of 15, it means it will create 15 control vertices of the curve. And this is useful to keep it alone at the lowest possible number. For example, in this case, let's make it 10. And because you want to be able to edit it easily, the least amount of CVs, the easier it will be to edit the animation. So once I set it to what I want, I can just click do it. And as you can see, the script runs, and now your character has no keyframes anymore, but it has connections to a motion path. There you go. And the U value, which you can just change the velocity. So you will lose the velocity information that you had in your previous animation, but you will gain the path. And it's easy enough to add the velocity here, in my opinion. So now, easily, it ends here. You can go in and try to fix it, make it, change it however you want. Maybe you want a little swirl here. Now it's super simple. But you want, let's say that there's that you want it to be flush to the ground, right? It's something we often want, especially towards the end. When our animation is approved, we're happy with everything, and now we want it flush to the ground. We don't want intersection, and we don't want anything floating above ground. So I can show you a couple of techniques to achieve that. I plan to put in the script as well at some point if they're requested enough. They're in script for my own personal tools, but I can make them available for everybody and laid out nicely in case they are needed enough. But I can show you manually what does it look like to do that. There are several ways to do this that basically are only two, and they both have advantages and problems. So the first one of the two is to simply select the ground, make it a live surface, and now you can just go in here, and what you select will be deformed or modified accordingly to the live surface. It's the same workflow of when you do some retopology on a character, for example. You want to slide stuff on other stuff. And this is all great, and it's nice when you just want to have a few amount of points like this. But as you can see, it does not solve our problem here of the intersections with the ground or the floating in other part. What would solve it is to start adding some extra information into the curve. So if I start adding some more points, I can just go to curves and click on insert node. Now this part of the curve will have some more resolution, and so I will be able to get closer, but closer to the shape of the ground. But I will have the problem that I have more points, and it's difficult to manipulate. So I would say that for blocking and deciding your animation, it's nice to just do it with the least amount of possible and not worry too much about this. This is just a step to do at the end. This was the first option, and that you can just make it live, start sliding control vertices on the surface of the ground and start adding manually vertices where it's needed. It's time consuming, it's not ideal. The second option instead is to just take the curve, take the ground, and add a shrink wrap modifier. As you can see, the shrink wrap works great because it works on the whole thing. And there's an offset which can let you decide how high or low. But it has the same issue that the resolution is not enough, and it will try its best, but it can only align what exists. And if there's no resolution to add it, it cannot compensate for this. So for this, I'm going to delete the shrink wrap now. And the solution to this is to either add them manually or use a rebuild. And you can put something very, very high with the curve selected and rebuild it. Now, if I go in control vertices, you can see it kept the same shape that we had before. So whatever we authored while working on animation that has been approved ideally by the supervisor or the director. But it has a lot more. So ideally here we are not supposed to change the animation anymore. And now if I just select this and this and I go here and create a shrink wrap, you can see it will be completely flush to the surface and our character will not float. Now it's a cube, it doesn't deform sideways. It's intersecting for other reasons than what. But we did a good job to have the character sliding on the surface, avoiding intersections and floating. So if that's something someone is interested to have automated, I can spend some time and fix it. Otherwise, the core of the script is here, and this is an extra methodology to finish up your work and make it as polished as possible in terms of intersections. There you go. Cheers.